Hi, all of you. So, in our last class, we discussed about static members. What is static members and what are the different static means what are the different areas you can apply static? All these things we discussed, right? Now we are having one more concept that is nothing but properties. This is also very important. So, before explaining these properties, there is one concept called encapsulation. So, can anyone tell me the definition of encapsulation? At least you can try, even if it is wrong, also. Encapsulation means
using class members and methods separately and calling the class members from the methods.
calling the class members from the methods. Okay. Means why we can't call class members directly? Again, quickly I'm repeating. Encapsulation means putting data members, not class members. Class members in the sense a class member may be a method, a constructor, or anything. So putting data members and member functions together inside a block and calling those data members with the help of those member functions is called as encapsulation. So let me once again. See, these are putting data members and member functions, putting data members and member functions together inside some block, and these data members only can access, or these member functions or these methods can only access these variables is called as encapsulation. Means when we are writing a class, you should maintain the basic encapsulation rule as mandatory. When you are creating a class, this is a mandatory part that you have to create, you have to follow these encapsulation rule. Okay, now let's see the issues on this. Now static void main, and inside this class property test1. Now inside this I'm having some variables, int number. Now anyone tell me, I'm creating an object property test1 obj equal to new property test1. Now if I want to access that variable in my static void main, is it possible to access or not? Yes or no? If I want to access this particular variable in our method, I mean in our main, is it possible to access or not?
Yes.
Yes. How?
We can write object dot number. No.
Okay. Just answer is no. It's not possible. But why it's not possible? Why it's not possible?
Because of static.
No. See, okay. This main is in another class and this is in another class. So class inside whatever variables or whatever members you are defining, what is the default scope?
Private.
Private. You can't access. See, many times I said, so what is the default scope of this particular variable is private. Class inside, many times I said. Again, I'm saying class inside whatever you are defining, all the variables, see, The default scope, class scope is internal. Class inside members, the default scope is private, whether it is a variable or a method or whatever it is. The variable scope or a method scope or a constructor scope, by default, their nature is private only, except static constructor. Remaining anything you are writing inside a class, by default, their nature is private only. Okay, because of that reason, this variable you can't access. Even forcibly, if you had given also, what is the error it is throwing? If you place the cursor, see, number is inaccessible due to its protection level. That means protection level means what? That variable is defined as private. That variable you can't access here. That's what they are saying. Now, how can I access that variable? How can I access that variable? Some way should be there, right? What is that solution? Let's see. One way is, if you want to make it as public, then whatever you said, that is possible. Obj dot number. But if you are making that variable as public, what you are doing? You are breaking the encapsulation rule. You are breaking the encapsulation rule, right? Because of this reason, it's not possible. Means, even if you forcibly, if you want to break also, we can't say anything. But if you want to, if you make your variable as public, you are breaking the basic OOPS principle called encapsulation. But yes, you are able to access that. Now, I want a concept where I don't want to break encapsulation rule. I don't want to break encapsulation rule, but in that class, whatever variables are there, I want that variables access. Again, I'm saying encapsulation rule means putting data and members together, and only those members can access the data, not outside members. That is called as fully encapsulated class. Now, inside that property test inside, I had declared one variable called number. Because it's protection level, that variable you can't access in your main program. So what I did, I made that variable as public. So if you make this variable as public, yes, you are able to access that. Two problems are there. First problem, you are breaking encapsulation rule. This is very basic rule of OOPS. Second one, you are giving complete scope to outers. Complete scope means what? Read and write. That means what? Anyone can change this number value. Anyone can get this number value. You are giving complete your property access to outer. So really, if you are interested, if you want to give it to outers, means you can give. See, complete read and write access you are giving. This is write access. This is read access. Both you are giving to outers. This is not at all a good practice. First of all, breaking of encapsulation rule means there is no point. Then what is the solution for this? The best solution for this is properties. Means without breaking the encapsulation rule, what and all scope you want to give to your variables, that if you want to give, then that mechanism is called as encapsulation. Let's see how to do. So for this, what I'm doing, I'm declaring some variables: account number, string name, long, balance. 3 variables I declared. Now I want to make this as a read access. I want to make this as a write access. I want to give both a read and a write access. Now for account number, I'm declaring a variable. I'm declaring a property. Public. Always property should be public. Always property should be public. Okay. And for each variable, separate properties you have to create. What is your variable? This one. So give as it is, but first letter with the capital. See, property name you can give anything, but generally, as per coding standard, if variables are small letters, properties will be with the same name, but first letter as capital, so that you can easily remember. See, in your class, you are having 10 variables and you are having 10 properties. So is it so easy to remember 10 variables and 10 properties? No, it's very difficult to manage that, right? But whereas if you if you maintain same, so with all small letter, those are variables. With first letter capital, that is property. And the return type should be int, because this variable type is in integer. So this is only having read access, right? Read access means only you have to give get return account number. That's it. In the same way, second one, public string name, right? So I'm going to give as it is. I'm going to give as it is and first letter capital. And this I want to give right access. That means only set name is equal to value. What is this value? Value is a standard keyword. What is the type of this value? The type of the value is string. But ma'am, who is saying the type of the value is string? Means here you specified. Here you specified the type of the value is string. Okay, this is the read access only I'm giving. This is write access only I'm giving. This for the third one, complete read and write access I'm giving. Public long balance get set. So get means it should return the value, return balance. No, balance. So here also balance, and balance equal to value. Anyone tell me here what is the type of the value? What is the type of the value? Here type of the value is, yes, what? Type of the value is what?
Long.
Yes, correct. Type of the value is long, and here the type of the value is
String.
oh yes, type of the value is string. Yes. Now see, when you make your variable as public, you are breaking encapsulation rule and you are giving complete read and write access to outers. But observe carefully. Obj dot, see, are you able to access your variables? No. You are able to access your properties only. You are able to access your properties only. And those properties are going to access your variables. Now, I want to assign some value to account number. Account number equal to 1001. It will throw error. Why it will throw error? Not possible. Because it's a read-only property. Read-only property means only you can consume the data. Console.writeLine obj dot account number. That's it. Obj dot account number. Then one more, obj dot name is equal to run. I can give like this. And when I'm trying to consume the data, you can't. Why? See, console.writeLine obj dot name. When I'm trying to give, it will throw error. Because it is write only property. Write only property, so you can't get the data. Whereas the third one, obj dot balance equal to 10,000 and console.writeLine obj dot balance. You can fetch the data, you can print the data because it is read and write property. Then you might ask a question, ma'am, if you observe the last one and the number both are behaving like same, in that case why I have to define the properties? I will tell that answer also, but is properties basic usage, is it clear, or any questions? Why we need properties? Is properties basic usage is clear? If not, please ask. I will repeat again. Don't worry about the code, what I wrote, because this I can simplify in the next program.
One question I have here, ma'am, like when you're assigning it to a value, what it is doing that I'm not understanding.
This line, huh?
Yeah, value is a keyword, right? Looks
So
like.
I will put a breakpoint here. Now come down to this. I will put a breakpoint here also. Now I have to set this as an entry point. Properties. Properties demo. Yes. Now run. Why? Anything I missed? Okay. No, it's executing and it will hit back to your yes, first 90 it is showing. This is. After that, console.writeLine obj dot account number, it will print that account number. Our requirement is not this one. Continue. Now it will comes to this. Obj dot name equal to RAM. That means you are calling a name property and you are passing RAM as a value. Then if I click on F10, so you are calling this property and you are assigning some value. That value will be this RAM. Means whatever that value you are assigning, that assigned value will comes to this value. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
So this program is okay. Now, whatever my requirement is there, my requirement is fulfilling because, yes, anyone wants to?
Yes. Sindhu, like in the get and set programs, we can only call the one variable or we can call the multiple variables in that. Like suppose I wanted to
in
set
properties, in properties per variable, one property. Using properties concept, for every variable, separate properties you have to write.
Okay, so if it is a set, there is only one variable can be set in set.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Suppose
And
in your class, if you are giving 3 variables, then you have to give 3 properties.
Or inside the public string name, so can I write one more set and then assign the one more variable? Is that possible?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not possible. For one variable, one property. That's it.
If I have another variable, I have to give another name and then
another
call.
property.
Okay.
Okay, you might think this is so complicated, but I will reduce the size. But whatever you are asking, that requirement is going to fill by indexers. So for all variables, one indexer we can create. That I will discuss later. But as of for your question, no, it's not possible.
Okay.
Now, this program, if you observe, okay, this is useful concept only, but the problem is it's very lengthy concept, right? These much of lines of code means it's too lengthy. I want a little simple process here. So let me see, add a new class, property demos 2, properties demo 2. So go to top and change these things. Property test 2. Yes, property test 2. Then you might think that, ma'am, this concept was good, but too many variables. If in my class, if I'm having 30 variables, for 30 variables, 30 properties creation means it's very difficult, means yes. Then what is the solution? You know, in real-time scenarios and all, you don't, you no need to create all these things. In C# 3.x, one concept they introduced that is called auto properties. In real-time scenarios and all, you will see these properties only. Now, first of all, I'm removing all the variables. I don't want to declare any variable. And I want to define only properties. Only properties. Get. That's it. I don't want to write this. See how easy it is? Now, name, set. But actually, problem with set is you can't give only one set. Means my intention is this is write only property, but without get you can't give set. So how you can do means private get and public set. That means what? Publicly set access you want to give outside classes, but privately inside the class I can give get access. Like that you can do. And balance, this is also both get and set is there. Get, set. That's it, done. You no need to write these many code. Now, how many lines I finished? In 3 lines, I finished the whole part. In 3 lines, I finished the whole part. So, ma'am, then is there any error? Down it will show, see, no error. Then, ma'am, what about variables? Variables, internally your compiler is going to create. If you create some auto properties, for this, internally your compiler is going to create all these variables. So, ma'am, how the variables are there? Suppose here, if you had given account number with A capital, your variable name will be small account number. And suppose if you means actually as per coding standard, you have to give first letter as capital. If you had given A also small letter, suppose if you had given your variable, your property as account number, your variable will be account number. Suppose if you had given your variable itself, property itself account number, then your variable will be created underscore account number like this. Okay, then ma'am, is those variables can I access? Suppose here I'm going to write print method, public void display method. In this display method, can I access those variables? See, console.writeLine account number is equal to plus account number. No, you can't access. Why? Because directly you can access these properties, right? Why again these variables? So instead of variables, you can use properties directly. Now see how my program becomes so simple. Everything, whatever earlier I did, everything I can do. But using these auto properties, my syntax becomes so easy. Then you might ask a question, ma'am, if auto properties are there, then why you explained all these things? These syntaxes are also very important and auto properties are also. So always keep remember, if you want to create some properties, then simple go with auto properties. No ma'am, along with auto properties, I want some logic also. Then go with this property syntax. Means what? That means, suppose my client told that some requirements he told. Name should be above 3 characters. This is one requirement. And when you are giving balance, then if balance is 0, then assign or add. See, for me, my client gave these type of extra requirements. That logic, you no need to create separate methods. Earlier in classes concept, what if I want to handle this, then I want to create separate methods for this. Now I no need to create a method for this. What I'm going to do, go talk, what the client is asked, the value, whatever name I'm giving, the name should be above 3 characters. So in set, I'm writing some own logic. If value dot length is greater than 3 characters, then name equal to value. Else console dot write line, name should be above 3 characters. Like that, I wrote some error message. Same thing, balance also. If balance is equivalent to 0, then balance equal to value. Else balance is equal to balance plus value. If you observe here, I finished deposit functionality also. Now, when I give balance equal to 10,000, then first time the value will be 0, 10,000 will be stores. Again, if I give obj dot balance is equal to 4,000, then what will happen? It will append or it will add to my current balance. That means deposit functionality I finished, right? So like this, if you want to write your own logic, then this property syntax will be useful. No, ma'am, just properties only I want to define means always this. So generally when you are writing classes and all, going forward, when you are writing classes and all, we won't declare variables. Always we will declare properties only. So these properties, your C# compiler, for these properties internally in background, properties are going to create. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Sindhu, yeah, in the public string name, you are written as a private get. So how this is going to act the private get? Because this is
Private
not
get
going
means,
to.
suppose,
This is not going to access it.
No, if you observe this one, right? Get access I'm giving private. So when I remove this comment also, see, you can't access this name because fetching the data, it's a write only property. Write only property means, actually in auto properties one rule is there. What is that rule means? With single set you can't give. When I give single set, then it will throw error. You can't give single set like that. So what I'm giving means, I'm giving get access also. If I gave get access, what will happen? Outer classes, everyone, they can access that name value. So what I did, I'm giving get access, but in a private scope. Private means what? Within the class only you people can access, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, outside you can't access, but inside this class, anywhere you can access.
But right now the private get is useless, right? Just
Yes,
for the
yes,
name.
correct. Because I can't give only set because of that syntax, so I'm giving private set.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. See, auto properties are very, very useful. Until and undo, if you are writing your own logic like this, your own logics like this, otherwise maximum cases out of 100, 90% people will use properties. Instead of declaring variables and all those things, directly they will define the properties. Here, if you observe, first of all, you are not breaking encapsulation rule. That is first part. And second part, you are not breaking encapsulation rule, and whatever access you want to give on that variable, you are giving. Whether read access, write access, or whatever access you want to give on that variable, you are giving. That means both we are achieving, right?
I have a question here.
Yes.
When you're giving private get and normal set, it means outside the class it cannot be accessed, but the value can be set.
Yes, correct. That's why if you observe, go down, outside the variable, outside the class, you can't get the value,
Okay.
but you can set the value.
Okay, got it.
I'm moving to next. Okay. So these two are very important. Means not now, but when I start Windows programming, I'm also going to use these properties only. I won't declare class inside. I won't declare any variable. Almost every time I'm going to use properties only. Okay. Next, I'm moving to next concept. Then property demo. Yes. Here, if you observe, this concept is very good. And how many variables are there? For all the variables, you are creating properties. So before, one of you asked, ma'am, for one property is related to one variable, means yes. But I want, suppose in my class, generally indexes we are not using in real-time scenarios. Then ma'am, why you are saying indexes? Means in our pre-existing C#, so many classes are having indexes. In our existing C#, so many classes are having these indexes. At least, okay, we are not using, but at least if you want to understand the behavior of that, we should know what is meant by indexer. So indexer also same thing. Class inside whatever private data is there, class inside whatever private data is there, that private data, if I want to access it outside, that private data, if I want to access that outside, then indexes are going to be used. Only one difference is there. For properties, every variable separate property. For indexes, all variables, only one indexer. That's it. Now, let me add a separate class, indexer demo. Now, here I'm creating one more class index test. I will take very less variables, int account number, string name. Two variables I'm taking. Now, for these two variables, if I want to create some indexer, then see what I said, for any number of variables, one indexer. Always either a property or indexer should be public. Done. After that, what I'm doing, public. Now, what can I give the return type? Earlier, the value is, earlier in this program, the value is, sometimes the value is an integer, long, sometimes the value is string. Because of that, here I had given the return type as string or long, like that. But any guesses? Because here one variable is integer, one variable is string type. What is the base type for all the data types? What is the base type for all the data types?
Object.
Yes, very good. It's an object. So object, and keep remember, indexers won't have any name. Indexers won't have any name. They are going to represent with this keyword. They are going to represent with this keyword. So difference between properties and indexes, if anyone asks, properties will have a name, and for each variable separate property we are giving. Okay, properties will have a name, but indexer will not have any name, and indexer will represent with this keyword, and an indexer will be either integer index or string index. Means what? Let me write integer index, int index. Now both get set. Now if index is equivalent to 0, always index will start from 0, return account number. Okay, if else, if index is equivalent to 1, then return name, else return 0 or return null. You can return null also. That's it. Now set same thing. If index is equivalent to 0, then account number equal to value. Then why it is throwing error? Any guesses from anyone? Why it is throwing error? I didn't wrote any wrong. Account number equal to value. What is the type of the value there? What is the type of the value?
Int.
Int. Earlier
There is no type.
Why?
It's an object.
Yes, it's an object type. See, here the value type, what is the return type of this object? If the return type is object, then what is the type of this value? Object. What it is saying? I can't convert object to an integer. It is saying I can't convert an object to an integer. An explicit conversion is required. We discussed what is explicit conversion. So this object type here, I have to convert this to integer. That's it. Over. I have to convert this to integer, and else if index is equivalent to 1, then name is equal to string of value. That's it. String of value. I'm going to assign these values. Done. Now if you observe, my indexer is very, very simple. Okay, now how to access this? Earlier we wrote in different way. What is that index test? Index test obj equal to new index test. Now when I type obj dot, are you able to access? No. So very, very important. In a class, if we are having an indexer, then that class object will behave like an array. Will behave like an array. That means what I have to give? obj dot, it's not working. Obj of, see, index is working. Obj of 0 is equal to 1001, and obj of 1 is equal to run. And if I want to print this value, console.writeLine account number equal to plus obj of 0, and console.writeLine name is equal to plus obj of 1. Actually, here for both variables I had given read and write access. If you want, you can avoid also, that is also no problem. But see, if you want to assign the data, or if you want to fetch the data, I am making my object as array type. But keep remember, at any time for any class object, if it is behaving like an array, in that class an index is there, and we can write in a class either as integer index or a string index. What is meant by string index? Same thing I can write as a string index. That means here my index should be string. Other than these two things, you can't write any other index. Instead of 0, account number. So instead of 1, you have to give name. And instead of 0, here also account number. Sorry. Account number. Instead of 1, here I'm giving name. That's it. Now, when you people are going to fetch this, when your people are going to assign or fetch, either you can give 0 or name. Like this also you can give. Both are valid. Name. Or you can give 1, and here you can give account number. You can give like this. See, all are valid. So, for any number of variables, you can give only one indexer. And indexes doesn't have any name. They are going to represent with this, and indexes are going to return object type. So explicit typecasting is required when you are assigning the value. An indexer will be either an integer index or a string index. Only these two we can give. So if you are having an indexer in your class, always that class object will behave like an array. Now, any questions? If you have, you can ask. Yes, this is indexer. Okay. So please try to understand this. See, in real-time scenarios and all, maximum we are using properties only. So properties are very, very useful. Maximum we use properties. But why I said indexes means many existing classes like SQL data reader, like that, many existing class collections. Going forward, I will discuss collections. All collections are having indexes. Because of that reason, I'm explaining. But mainly we are going to use properties only. Okay. So please practice both. Any questions or anything in tomorrow's class, I will repeat. Okay. And tomorrow we are going to start. If no questions, then tomorrow we are going to start one more important concept called exception handling. Even if you are doing any type of application, mobile, Windows, web, any type of application, how we are going to handle our exceptions, that is nothing but exception handling. Okay. That we will discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay. Okay. Then. Bye, all of you.
Are you going to discuss more about static classes, ma'am?
Static classes not now, later.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. No, later I will explain. In extension methods, in all those areas, I will explain that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then. Bye, all of you. Thank you.